Councilmember Boki, would you like to do an audio check?
Yeah. You got me?
Yes,
Gotcha.
thank you.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Well, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. We're almost at the appointed hour here. Hopefully the microphones are all working. There you go. You might want to pull that down so you can reach it. Well, good evening. Welcome to those of you who are here with us tonight in the audience and those of you who are joining us virtually on Zoom. Welcome to the Lakewood City Council special meeting for this Wednesday, March 1, 2023. Madam Clerk, if you call the roll for us, we'll start our special meeting.
Councilmember Anderson,
Here.
Councilmember Bell,
Here.
Councilmember Boki,
Here.
Councilmember Brandstetter,
Here.
Deputy Mayor Moss,
Here.
and Mayor Whalen.
Present.
You have a quorum.
Very good. Thank you. Our sole item of business this evening is to interview candidates for the council position vacated by Linda Farmer, who assumed the throne as Pierce County Auditor during the last election. So we're pleased to have you all here for this process. Just as a reminder to those members of the public viewing tonight, this process started with a call for applications by the council. We solicited applications from members of the public at large who were interested in serving in this capacity. And we received approximately, I believe, 14 applications, 3 of whom have withdrawn their applications. We then elected as a body to interview each of the candidates to provide a full and fair opportunity to hear from you and to get to know you and for you to get to know us in a way that is somewhat structured with the questions that we have at present. Unlike the last iteration in which we interviewed candidates, we provided more time this time for you to engage with us through an opening statement, responses to 4 questions, and a closing statement, totaling 15 minutes. So that's kind of our limitation. We're trying to be fair and consistent by asking the same questions. They seem a little rote, but they are what they are, and they're intended to invite a dialogue as best we can. So with that, I am pleased to announce our first candidate for this evening is Sean Hill. And Sean, the clock will be there on the screen. You have a total of 15 minutes. Certainly the first 2 minutes are yours for an introduction to tell us a little bit about you and what you hope to accomplish as a council member. And then we'll lead the questions going from my left, your right, to my right, your left. And the 4 questions will be posed by each of the 4 council members present. And then you'll have a summation 3 to 4 minutes. So the floor is yours.
My name is Sean C. Hill. I started using my middle initial a long time ago on the advice of my mother. So there it is. I am a self-proclaimed self-starter, and I kind of have a save the world complex. So I like to be involved in things. And that is what has brought me here. I've attended a few meetings, sent in my opinion on a number of matters. And I think it would be good to see it from the inside and see what council is dealing with and be a part of that process.
Well, great.
That's my intro.
Well, thank you very much. Councilmember Bell.
Thank you, Mayor. Welcome. So what skills, talent, or diversity of background would you bring to the Lakewood City Council?
Well, I'm a longtime resident. I have a great love for the city. My parents met here at McCord many moons ago, and I call this home. I'm self-employed. I have a real estate background and also have started a small going concern that I hope will grow. So I'm vested here. I am a perennial volunteer. I volunteer for the Girl Scouts, for a local nonprofit, the Gary Oak Coalition. I'm involved with the Backstage Foundation, providing opportunities for young dancers. And I believe in a hands-on approach and community involvement. I've held a position of leadership in some of those organizations. And I just think things work better when everybody is willing to do their part. So.
Very good. Council, Deputy Mayor Moss.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, and good evening. It's nice to see you
Nice
again.
to see you.
My question is, how would the aforementioned attributes help you be effective as a council member on the first day?
I have great communication skills, listening and speaking. I'm interested in various backgrounds and opinions. I have an analytical mind, so I can take in information and decide what's pertinent and make decisions based on that. Also, being self-employed, I can wear a lot of different hats and do. And so I'm tirelessly hopeful. And I always think things can be improved, rectified, adjusted in a way that meets the goals of an organization. I think that's important in government or anything I'm involved in. Thank you.
Absolutely. Thank you. Councilmember Brandstetter.
I believe the library situation has to be resolved in the favor of the ordinary citizen. I think it's shameful that it's become so difficult to access information in person and in a way that people are comfortable and familiar with. Not everyone has broadband or a computer. I know a lot of people access the internet strictly on their phone. I don't know how you could do any research like that. So I think it really is a disadvantage to the ordinary citizens that that situation has come about, and also it hasn't been resolved. Secondly, I mentioned I'm a Gary Oak Coalition member, and so I've got a lot of interest in saving as many oak trees and prominent pine trees that is possible. And I have a lot of ideas around that subject, and I think the city council has to really be much more aggressive in their approach, especially trying to save as much of the canopy as possible. And then third, I think, as I said, I'm involved in real estate, and I'm sad to see the development of either huge homes that serve well-to-do families or apartment buildings, I suppose, are for the working class. There's an option in the middle to build affordable homes of a smaller size and that working class people could hope to purchase. I don't see the city council concentrating on that, and I think that it should be.
Mr. Anderson.
Thank you. With all the qualified candidates that we have before us, why you, why now?
I was a good citizen for a long time and felt like that was enough of a contribution to my community. And as of late, I have decided that jumping in with both feet is a better approach. I am a good communicator. I try to treat people like they're fellow human beings. So I think I would be an asset to the council. I have a heavy background in research based on the work that I do, and I have a lot of compassion. So I think, why not me and why not now?
Well, thank you very much.
Thank you.
That is it for the 4 questions, but you have your chance to sum up and give the, as we say, the 1-2 punch if you'd like.
Okay. I love to hear myself speak as much as the next person, but I feel like I've laid out my qualifications and my reasons for being here. I've been involved with the school, PTA, other volunteer organizations, and it's always different from the outside looking in. Being part of the process would be a good opportunity to influence the direction of the council and also gain more knowledge on how the city council actually functions. But I really see a need to promote the interests of the ordinary person. And that's what I would like to do. So if I get a seat, that would be my approach.
Very good. Well, thank you very much.
Thank
Appreciate
you.
it. Yeah,
Thanks for
Thanks
your
for
time.
coming. So as the clerk resets the clock, if Amanda Quintana is here, please join us. Hi. Well, welcome.
Thank you.
And I assume you heard the introduction. So you've got the same 15 minutes allotted as with the other candidates. The
Okay.
first couple of minutes is yours for an opening sort of salvo, if you will, and then we'll go to the questions.
Okay, great. Thank you. My name is Amanda Quintana, and I am a lifelong resident of Pierce County. I've lived my entire adult life in Lakewood, so I have a vested interest in the community. I'm a wife, mother, employee, homeowner, taxpayer, and like I said, longtime resident here. So I just have a feeling that it's my time to get back to this community and to think about the things that I want to see improved and work towards that improvement. As a mom, I care about quality education, access to resources, and building a community that my kids want to remain in with me. Even after going to college or living elsewhere, I just would love for them to want to return here to find that this is their home for life as well. As an employee, citizen, and community member, I value availability of jobs, businesses that suit the needs of our community and stay afloat. I value attractions, things that bring people to our city, places to dine, parks and recreation, drivable and walkable streets. As a local churchgoer, I care about the ability to build community partnerships and accessibility of the services that churches want to provide. So partnerships that allow us to come together and provide those services that are needed by the community so that we have strong communication between everyone that can gain from those services that we're willing to offer, or that the churches are willing to offer. And that also provide mentorships intergeneration and that can guide intergenerational goals so that work continues even after we're no longer around. As a homeowner, I care about safety, clean streets, fiscal responsibility with my tax dollars, and housing affordability, especially for my own children as I see housing prices rise. I just care about that they will be able to purchase a home or rent when it is their time to do so on their own. As a potential city council member, I care about looking at the city's mission, goals, and strategic plan from a high-level view. I value making a balanced and well-informed decisions that benefit the community as a whole. And that's it.
Good.
Here we go. So welcome. So what skills, talent, or diversity of background would you bring to the Lakewood City Council?
So I kind of already outlined my diversity of background as a citizen in Lakewood. My skills that I have gained as an employee is from working in community and technical colleges for the last 15 years. And I think what I can point to that most directly applies to being a city council member is being part of the college council at Bates Technical College, where we would take a look at the strategic plan and the college's mission and make high-level decisions for policies for the college based on those two things. I'm a part of other committees at the college where we have to take a look at budgets and moving pieces and make decisions for a lot of people that benefits the whole.
Deputy Mayor Moss.
Thank you, and good evening.
Thanks.
My question is, how will the before mentioned attributes make you effective make you effective council member on the first day?
So as I mentioned before, I like to look at things from a high level view. And so I think taking that approach helps you make a more balanced and neutral decision along with the other council members. And align those decisions based on our predetermined goals.
Thank you.
Mhm.
What are the top three priorities you believe the city council should focus on in 2026?
So improving the city's reputation and safety is the number one goal I think we should focus on. And I think we can do that through community building and partnerships, including, as I mentioned before, intergenerational partnerships. I know there's a youth council that meets, but I think we can pull in more youth as well from that may not be a part of that council. I think the second priority I would have is homelessness and boosting the LASA initiative. I've read about the Living Access Support Alliance. I think building more inclusive living communities is really important. And economic success is the third priority, filling the empty buildings with businesses that suit our community's needs and that will bring sustained financial prosperity to our area.
Thank you. All the qualified candidates.
So as I mentioned before, Pierce County has been my home my entire life. Lakewood has been my home for over 17 years. My kids are a little bit older now, and I think I have time to invest in something like this. So I think it's my time to give back and to participate.
Well, thank you very much. And as we've offered everyone the opportunity for a kind of a summation or sort of one to, close the deal punch is yours. So
Okay.
you've got 8 minutes if you'd like.
Thank you for the opportunity to do this. I am ready and willing to serve the community and am, yeah, I think that's all I have to say. I think I've said everything already, and I just am thankful for this community and ready to give back to it this time.
Well, great. Well, thank you very much for coming and we appreciate it.
All right, thank
Yeah,
you.
thank you for your willingness to step up. Preston, you're next. Let me get my way to the packet here.
Yes, I provided a packet for each of you to follow along as I talk through the questions. And also for later reference as you consider all the candidates.
Great. Well, the 15 minutes is on the clock. You've got the chance for your sort of opening statement if you wish, and then we'll go to the questions as you heard. So the floor is yours.
Sounds good. Thank you. Thank you, Mayor Whalen, Deputy Mayor Moss, and council members Anderson, Bell, Oki, and Brandstetter. I'm Tristan Lauricella, and I've been a resident of the Nyanza Park neighborhood here in Lakewood for the past 41 years. My wife and I bought our forever home about 20 years ago, and we're proud to be active members of our community. As a graduate from the Clover Park School District, I attended Idlewild, Tyee Park, Custer, and Evergreen Elementaries, Lockburn Junior High, and Clover Park High School, graduating in 1999. My childhood was spent exploring my neighborhood on my bike with friends, visiting the Lakewood Mall to spend our hard-earned quarters at the video arcade, and buying the latest CDs from our favorite bands while we ate our favorite treats from the Lakewood House of Donuts. Following in my older brother's footprints, I joined Scouting and learned to appreciate a life of service to others and embracing the stewardship of our environment. Our diverse group of socially awkward kids got together every week to learn life skills and build core values that define me today. I remember a cold, rainy November weeknight in my early teens when our scout troop was called upon to lay sandbags to save the bottom floor of an apartment complex in Springbrook. The pride and camaraderie I felt knowing that my friends and I made a big difference sticks with me to this day, and I hope to use the same drive for positive change in this opportunity to serve our residents. In 2015, I had the opportunity to serve another part of our community by helping to launch the Rachel Lynn Henley Foundation. It's an all-volunteer 501c3 nonprofit which raises funds for pediatric cancer research and patient care at Mary Bridge and Seattle Children's Hospitals. As the treasurer and finance director, I'm responsible for maximizing our financial efficiencies and our impact for local cancer fighting kids. Under my watch, we've grown every year and have raised over $750,000 that goes directly to our mission.
Turn to Councilmember Bell for the first question.
Thank you, Mayor. So welcome. So what skills, talent, or diversity of background would you bring to the Lakewood City Council?
Thank you, Councilmember Bell. As a student at Clover Park, I excelled in my science and math classes. My appreciation for STEM led me to attend Pierce College, the University of Washington, and St. Martin's University, earning a bachelor's degree in mechanical engineering. I then started working for Boeing, first as an engineer, then as a manager, at the Frederickson site out in Puyallup, then in Auburn, and also in Seattle. Early in my career, I completed my MBA from Seattle University, and I've been able to hone my leadership skills into a successful career, managing some of the largest projects in the company. I'm grateful to have led from different disciplines, including engineering, operations, business operations, IT, and finance. And I embrace a servant leadership style where I enable my team's success through engagement, removal of roadblocks, and accountability to our mission. In my time at Boeing, I've been a force for change, recognizing the strength and the diversity of our people, the power of creativity and innovation, and the passion that comes from a shared vision. I created and launched a mentorship program that celebrates the legacy of knowledge from our experienced people while introducing them to the fresh ideas and perspectives of our newer employees. More than half of my career has been in management, and I've built high-performing teams by hiring veterans from all branches of the military. The reliability, dedication, and knowledge they bring to work have made them some of my best employees, coworkers, and friends. I've worked hard to grow the pipeline of diverse STEM candidates in our community as well, through supporting the South Sound Regional Science Fair and mentoring international engineering students across the country.
Deputy Mayor.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Good evening.
Hi.
My question is, how would the before mentioned attributes help you to be an effective council member on day one?
Thank you, Deputy Mayor. So my 18 years at Boeing, my life spent in Lakewood, and my commitment to always leaving things better than you found them have prepared me to serve my community from day one. At the core of who I am, I want to grow and develop the people around me, to see and listen to their needs and enable their success through engagement, inclusivity, and equitable representation. I believe in the council's goal of direct the community towards positive change, and I will insist that everyone's voice is heard so that our decisions represent our community. My science and engineering background drive my dedication for data-driven decision-making. I have a passion for the numbers and the science behind them, and I have an innate curiosity for how the world works. My leadership experience has taught me how to influence without authority, to focus on common priorities to enable action, and how to develop and execute on strategic business roadmaps to deliver results. Finally, as a steward of our community and environment, I understand how connecting with people, developing our neighborhoods, and embracing our diverse community will improve the quality of life for all our residents.
Great. Thank you. Mr. Branstetter.
Yeah, Mr. Larissella, what are the top 3 priorities you believe City Council should focus on in 2023?
Thank you, Councilman Branstetter. As a city council, we're responsible to represent our residents' best interests in everything we do. Our community puts their trust in us, and we must earn that trust every day. With that, I would prioritize the City Council's actions for 2023 in these areas. First, community engagement. Our vision should be to improve quality of life to all our community members. Through our boards and commissions, we should leverage and empower our existing delegated teams to identify and deliver positive change. By strengthening our strategic partnerships, we should identify and embrace shared priorities with our neighboring communities, JBLM, and community service organizations. Through accessibility, beyond just our council meetings, we should be reaching out to our neighborhood communities to go to where our people are, to hear their voices and address their needs. We should be representing our needs, or representing the needs of residents to our fellow council members, and representing our city council to our residents. Not everyone is available on Monday nights to come to council meetings, so we should go to them to understand their needs. Second priority would be economic growth and resiliency. The economic prosperity feeds our community. We can continue marketing to new businesses by sharing our community demographics, our accessibility to I-5, and our costs of running business compared to Tacoma, Seattle, and Olympia. We can benchmark our neighbors, sharing lessons learned to help grow the financial pie instead of just our slice of it. We can support, celebrate, and promote our diversity of entrepreneurs and minority-owned small businesses in the city. The third priority is government accountability and performance. By embracing a culture of transparency, we can build trust. We should maintain best-in-class customer service metrics for all city departments and for city council, from potholes to parks and business licenses to building permits, tracking and improving the visibility and velocity of all our processes. We understand our fiscal responsibility. Every dollar matters. Whether from tax revenue or economic grants, we are the stewards of city funds, and we are ultimately accountable for how they're spent. We understand our social responsibility. The health of our community members, our parks, and our infrastructure reflects on our success as a council. By understanding and supporting the needs of our social services within the city, we will help drive positive change. Through communication, accountability, and respect, we can build trust in our city government.
Thank you.
Thank you. So with all the qualified candidates we have, why you, why now?
All right, good question. So why me? I'm grateful to be part of a group of passionate and well-qualified candidates that you brought in. I appreciate the time you've taken to consider my application. The opportunity to represent our community in this capacity doesn't come along often, and it's clear that you're being diligent in your process. What I can offer is a unique combination of passion for serving our community, demonstrated talent for leadership, and the education and experience from my time as a leader in the private sector. I live and breathe Lakewood. My grandparents raised my parents in Tillicum and Woodbrook, and my parents bought their home here in 1972. My dad worked on McCord for over 30 years, and my grandmother, mother, brother, and sister-in-law all worked for the school district across 6 decades. My wife was employed here at City Hall for 5 years as a civil engineer, where she too fell in love with the city. I have spread the ashes of my family members in Puget Sound, and I intend to stay here and raise my family as a part of this community for generations to come. I've spent nearly 20 years in the private sector, learning how to execute and deliver results to enact positive change. I've led very large, cross-functional and diverse teams to tackle big challenges by engaging our team to continuously improve and take ownership of their success. I'm committed to improving the quality of life for all members of our community, always putting their best interests first. Why now? My career is stabilized to the point where I can dedicate the time and resources to support the city. My day job won't require significant travel, and I'm able to work from home several days a week. My volunteer work with my nonprofit, helping to improve the lives of our smallest community members through my foundation, has further ignited a passion for serving the rest of our community. As a council member, I will drive positive change through communication, accountability, and respect for our residents.
You got the opportunity to sum it all up if you'd like. You've given us a nice overview, but if
Yeah, I can
you would like,
I can
you've got
sum
a
it up
few
with
more
my
minutes.
last piece here. So thank you again for taking the time to interview all the applicants for this position. I'm sure you'll select the best candidate and they'll help make positive changes for all members of our community. My childhood was spent exploring my neighborhood, eating donuts with friends, and serving our community through scouting. I learned teamwork playing baseball on McCord for a couple of years and playing with the high school marching band. From cold autumn football games to wet daffodil parades and warm Lakewood summer fests. It was all an adventure. I'm a big science nerd and a business leader. I love my city and I'm proud of what we've accomplished, but I'm even more excited about the growth and development yet to come. If selected, I commit to driving communication, accountability, and respect through my top 3 priorities of community engagement, economic growth and resiliency, and government accountability and performance. In the spirit of putting the best interests of our community above my own, I also commit to donating any 2023 salary from this position to benefit pediatric cancer patients in our community through our 501c3 foundation. As a lifelong resident of Lakewood, I have a vested interest in how our community is served. As a business and strategy leader, I understand how to balance the fiscal, social, and environmental needs to maximize the benefit to our people. As a team, our council can and will continue to make a positive impact for our community by always leaving things better than we found them. Thank you for your consideration.
Thank you very much for your interest, your application, and your dialogue tonight. We appreciate
Thank
it.
you. Yeah, with you. The remaining time, if there's any questions you guys have for me, I'd be happy to answer them, or we can close it out.
I would love for us to have done that with everyone else, but we got to be consistent. So
Yeah,
I
I
would love to
understand.
be able to do a little bit of back and forth kind of follow up. Maybe the next time we'll do that. We should. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Yep. Next. Ray, come on up. welcome.
Good evening. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, you're very welcome. Well, the clock has the full 15 minutes on there. You have a chance for a few opening minutes if you'd like, and then the questions you've heard, and then we'll have that summation by you at the end. So the floor is yours.
Okay. Well, my name is Larea Brown. I was born and raised here in Lakewood. I have a degree in behavioral health from Boston University. I'm also involved with the Clover Park School District with teaching, and I work with the youth, actively working with the youth every day. And a fun fact about me is I lived in Alaska for a few months where I enjoyed hiking and snow bike riding.
Okay. So welcome. What skills, talent, or diversity of background would you bring to the Lakewood City Council?
My greatest skill is that I am reliable and I'm a very focused person. During my 4 years at Boston University, I was a Posse Foundation Scholar where I was trained on how to effectively communicate and cooperate with a team of people of different backgrounds and opinions. I'm aware of the importance of establishing expectations and the importance of creating an atmosphere where our goals can be met.
Deputy Mayor Moss.
Thank you and welcome.
Thank you.
My question is, how would the before mentioned attributes help you be an effective council member on day one?
I will use my skills to think openly and ethically. My main goal as a city councilman would be to make sure we are being fair and just in our decision-making and that we're considering all the pros and cons of everything and who our decisions could affect now and in the future.
Thank you.
Mr. Branstetter.
Yeah, Ms. Brown, what do you believe were the three top priorities the city council should focus on in 2023?
The top three priorities that the city council should focus on in 2023 would be first, expanding bike lanes. Second, we should focus on adding more road bumpers or slow down caution signs near daycare centers in Lakewood. I don't know if you're aware, but we have a lot of daycares here in Lakewood and there aren't any road bumpers or slow down caution signs. So a lot of cars just speed through and a kid could just run into the street. We should also focus on getting an automatic system that alerts schools and daycare centers of an emergency in the area so they can be on high alert. And the reason why I chose these three things is because they're specific, they're measurable, they're adjustable if need be, they're realistic, and they're timely, meaning these are three things that we could actually get done in 2023. And set, a realistic time frame.
Thank you. So with all the qualified candidates we're interviewing, why should we pick you and why now?
Why me? Because I'm alert and very aware of things that are always going on in Lakewood. I also have the ability to think long-term. Working with the youth, I care about Lakewood flourishing this year and 5 to 10 years from now. And that's going to rely on the decisions that we make today.
Great. We have a chance to kind of sum things up and give us the last sort of softball so we can knock it out of the park. Or so you can.
Sorry. Overall, I really enjoy being a part of the decision-making process. I enjoy working with the team and I'm very dependable, focused, reliable. I'm a very consistent person. Thank you.
Well, thank you for coming and thank you for your application and your dialogue with us tonight. We really appreciate it.
Thank you for having me.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, that is it for the candidates on the docket for this evening. That also concludes the interview process for the last two nights. I don't think we have any carryover, right? We had one that didn't show last evening. I don't know if there's a carryover. Obviously not here tonight.
We do not have any carryovers at this time.
Okay. So this then does conclude the application and interview process. And I just want to leave you with a few thoughts from me, not necessarily from the group as a whole, but from me. I just want to echo and reiterate that this is a good process. It is one that we hope is open and transparent to the public and certainly allows many folks to engage and put their hat in the ring, so to speak, to perhaps serve the community at this particular level. I also want to recognize that and emphasize that community service and leadership is really a journey. It's not just a destination. And I think it's important that we're all on a different stage in our individual journeys toward being involved in the community, exercising our leadership opportunities and our strengths that we all individually have. So I just want to encourage you and thank you for applying, and just recognize we can only select one during this process. And this is a process that we have to, do the hard work and noodle over these applications to find the best candidate that we think at this time will help us advance council's visions and goals over the next year or two through the duration of this particular position's term. And I would encourage you that if not selected this time, certainly there's an election coming up for this position, but if this is truly your path and your passion, stay on the journey and look for opportunities to engage in the community through any number of our citizen advisory boards and commissions, certainly by doing the good work with all the various agencies that partner with the city of Lakewood on any number of topic areas or interest areas that you all have expressed interest in. So again, just recognize that if this is your path and your passion, don't stop the journey if you're not selected for this position. I just want to thank you for doing what you're doing. And as you've indicated, you have a heart and soul for the community, and that's why we're all here together. So again, thank you for coming tonight. And we're going to, as we did last night, recess in a few minutes into what's called executive session, where we get a chance to kind of talk about qualifications for the position that we're looking in. We don't deliberate or take any sort of straw polls during that process. We actually do a voting process openly and in a very transparent way on the dais. And that will likely take place on Monday, the 13th, I think we set for that. It's typically a study session on that particular night, but we're going to set a special meeting that gets noticed to the public, and you're all invited to come and watch if you wish, but we will go through that voting process at that time. So stay tuned, and again, stay on the journey and on the path, and thank you for coming tonight. Thank you very much. So we will now recess into executive session for approximately 25 minutes pursuant to RCW 423110 sub 1 sub H to evaluate the qualifications of candidates for appointment to elected office. City Council is not expected to take any action following the executive session other than to adjourn this meeting. So at this time, ladies and gentlemen, we will be in recess.